Hey there. Sometimes it's the little things that make the biggest difference in sounding more natural in English. Today, we're going to zero in on one of those little things: how to perfectly pair adjectives with prepositions. Get this right, and trust me, your English is going to sound so much more fluent. So, does this ever happen to you? You're trying to say something like you're good at something or interested in something, but you just freeze on that tiny little word, at, in, for? It can be super confusing, right? Well, you are definitely not alone. It's one of the most common tricky spots for English learners, and today we're going to clear it all up. All right, so the best way to really get grammar isn't by staring at rules in a textbook, right? It's by hearing it used in a real conversation. So let's do just that. We're going to listen in on two people talking. As you listen, I want you to really tune your ears into the phrases that are highlighted. Okay, here's the first person speaking. They say, I have been really motivated to improve my presentation skills lately. So the first phrase to lock in is motivated to improve. And the other person replies, that's great. I am interested in developing my research techniques, but I am a bit nervous about taking the final exam. Okay, so we've got two more there: interested in developing and nervous about taking. Keep those in mind. Then the first person says, I understand. Last month, I felt frustrated with making such slow progress, but now I am much more confident about achieving my goals. And there are two more for our list: frustrated with making and confident about achieving. Next up, the second person says, good for you. I was actually surprised by how much responsibility this course requires. Let's grab that one too. Surprised by. And to wrap up the conversation, we hear, same here, but I am grateful for having a mentor who supports me through the challenges. Okay, and our last one from the dialogue is grateful for having. Okay, so we've listened to the conversation. Now it's time to be a bit of a grammar detective. Did you start to see a pattern in all those phrases we pulled out? So think about it for a second. We had interested in developing, nervous about taking, frustrated with making. What do all of those phrases have in common? There's a structure there. Let's lay it all out. If we break them down, you can see it really clearly. You've got an adjective, like interested, then a preposition, in, and then a verb form, developing. It's the same for all of them. Nervous about taking, frustrated with making. It's always adjective, then preposition, then a verb. That's the pattern. Okay, now let's zoom in on that last column, the verb. We have developing, taking, making, achieving, having. See it? Every single one of them ends with ing. That is absolutely not a coincidence. It's actually the key to the whole thing. So, now that we've spotted the pattern, let's talk about the actual grammar rule behind it. Why does this happen? And here is the golden rule. It's actually pretty simple. Whenever a verb follows a preposition, words like in, at, about, for, with, that verb must take the ing form. We call this the gerund form. So you're interested in learning, not interested in learn. It's a really solid rule to remember. Now, the trick here is that certain adjectives just go with certain prepositions. They're like little word teams that always stick together. So the best way to learn them is to memorize the pair, like interested in or good at. And we can even group them by meaning to make it easier to remember, like these ones about feelings, reactions, or abilities. Okay, so just when you think you've got the rule down, there's always an exception in English, right? Remember way back in the conversation, the very first phrase was motivated to improve? It didn't use ing. And there's a reason for that. For most adjectives, it's preposition plus ing. But for a small group of adjectives, usually about motivation, they use to plus the simple base verb. And these are the main culprits you need to look out for. When you're using words like motivated, determined, or ready, you're going to follow them with to plus the infinitive, the basic form of the verb. So it's motivated to improve, determined to succeed, and ready to start.
All right, theory's over. We've heard it, we've learned the rules. Now it's time for the most important part, putting it all into practice. Let's look at a few more examples to really lock this in.
Let's just run through these and you'll see how it all works. She is confident about completing her thesis. See? Adjective, preposition, ing. Perfect. Now, watch out for this next one. They are motivated to improve their academic performance. There's our exception. Motivated to.
Then it's back to the main rule. He is frustrated with repeating. We are grateful for receiving. And he is responsible for leading. Once you see the pattern, it just clicks, doesn't it?
Okay, that was a lot of information, I know. So let's boil it all down to the 3 most important things you need to walk away with. Really, it all comes down to 3 simple steps. First, remember that adjectives and prepositions come in fixed pairs. Think interested in. Second, remember the big rule. After a preposition, the verb almost always ends in ing. And third, just keep an eye out for that small group of exceptions like motivated, determined, and ready that use to plus the base verb. That's it. That's the whole game.
So why did we go through all of this? Because when you get these patterns right, you can talk about your skills, your feelings, and what you're working on so much more accurately. It's a huge step towards sounding more confident and natural when you speak English. Okay, now it's your turn. I want you to use what you just learned. Think about it, and maybe even say it out loud to yourself right now. What is one skill you are interested in developing? Give it a try. Thanks so much for watching.